Well, I had an interesting night last night, to say the least. I've never been in a tornado. I've never been that close. It was close. Really close. I live in London, Kentucky. It's kind of where it, I guess, ended up at eventually. It was less than 2,500-ish feet away. I'll show you what I mean. You can't see the damage from here. But out there, right past all those trees and stuff right there, that's the London airport. The path cut all the way through there. Even though we can't see it from here, it's just right over there, right past that group of trees. Yeah, that airport's not here anymore. It got obliterated, basically. I'm sure a lot of you out there probably experienced it or been close to one, maybe something like that. For me, it was first time. I didn't like that it was at night. That sucked. But maybe it was a good thing that it was at night, because if it was in the day, I'd probably be out there trying to get video of it, which would have been stupid. Maybe not. Common sense might have taken over, because it definitely took over last night. I was watching I guess the Ryan Hall y'all thing on YouTube, and he was, you know, saying where it was going, and the track, he kept plotting the track or mentioning the track of it. It kept pointing towards London Airport. I mean, London Airport's right next door. And I thought to myself, you know, I guess I better take cover. I don't have a basement here. Okay, so the only thing I can think of, and I've heard this from other people, is to get in the bathroom, smallest room, you know, get in the tub. I guess it's like a confined space. Plus there's like, I guess, extra reinforcement, you know, with the shower stall. I don't know. It's the only thing I could think to do, okay? I thought it would be better than just being out here where there's tons of debris, you know, possible debris if it did hit. So I got in the tub, you know, I had Pan and Louie, both my pet cats. They were in there with me. Of course, Pan's a good cat, right? He's cool. He'll do whatever you tell him to do. Like, he's a good cat. Louie, on the other hand, is not a good cat. All right, he is mischievous, always wanting to do his own thing. So we're in the bathroom, and he's yelling, right? Crying. He wants to get out of the bathroom. He doesn't want to be in there. Louie. Yeah. He's, you know, he's screaming and crying. I opened up the bathroom window because I just wanted to be able to hear it. Well, right about that time, I'm on the phone with Mom, right? She's kind of like relaying what she's hearing too, because my internet connection is getting spotty. Not house internet, okay? That already was gone. Cell phone service internet. Like, it was starting to drop out and couldn't watch really live anymore because it just kept refreshing. She starts not being able to hear me. Like, she says, I'm cutting out. Well, she's coming through fine to me. I can hear her, but she can't hear me. So the call drops. And then the power goes out. It blinks a few times, and then it just dies. With the bathroom window open, here, I'll show you the bathroom. Tub's right there. That's where I was. Bathroom window, I had that one open, okay? And this door was shut. I've got most of the windows open at this point because, you know, the pressure differential, I don't know, this is just stuff I've heard from people, okay? I don't have any experience with this stuff. It's just things I thought of. I mean, we had been getting lightning, you know, because it was storming, right? Normal lightning. I mean, it was loud, you know, but it wasn't lightning that was anything really extraordinary until that moment. So everything drops out, right? There's no more wind. Dead silent. There's no bugs, no crickets, nothing. Like, it's dead silent. That's when everything lights up blue. It sounded like a howitzer went off. I mean, it sounded like it was right next to the window. My ears were ringing. I mean, this was the most intense lightning I had ever heard. Boom! Like, just like a bomb. Of course, that's when Louie, my cat, he immediately decided that he no longer wants to leave the bathroom. He wants to get under the bathtub. I think it was 3 strikes, 3 big ones. And I thought for sure they had hit like the house next door or maybe a tree in the backyard. Of course, I couldn't go check at that point because that's when I start hearing this like this low whirring sound start up, and it gets louder and it gets louder. I'm trying to think of what it is because I've never heard that sound before. I've heard people describe it, but it's hard to describe. There's really nothing else it could be. You know there's nothing else it could be, yet when you first hear it, you're like, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's a truck. Maybe it's some kind of siren that has never gone off. I don't know, something, you know, it doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard. You know, that was it. That was the tornado. And it was getting closer and it was getting louder. Kind of at that point, I kind of thought, well, okay, then it is the tornado. So it just keeps getting louder. And then I start hearing these like banging, thuds, crashing metal, hitting metal. And I could hear that underneath this whir sound. It just kept getting louder and louder. And I'm thinking, what am I gonna hear before it hits me? Like, how loud is this gonna get? It keeps getting louder and then it just stays even. Like it just gets to this pitch and it's levels off and it's just even, you know, just the same whir. And then of course you can hear thuds and clanging underneath of it just every now and then, not like a cacophony of it, right? Like you can just hear it a little bit underneath the whir. The power's still out, mind you, at this point. And then the whirring starts to drop a little bit, drops, it starts going down, and then there's no more whir. And it's just silent. And there's no sounds at all. The power comes back on. I'm able to make calls again. Apparently, the reason that I dropped out on my end of the cell phone was because of the debris ball that this thing was kicking up. It was interfering with cell reception. It was that dense. That is a big tornado. Right after this happens, that's when the emergency vehicle sirens pick up. Like there are still emergency vehicle sirens going on. Not right at this moment, but all night long. It was nothing but emergency vehicle sirens. There were emergency vehicles up and down the road going to Airport Road, which is right next door, going in that way. I don't know, I guess there were a lot of power lines down, so they were having trouble getting into that area. The airport's gone. It's obliterated. That's what that was like. So after that, you know, called mom back, let her know I'm alive. They lost power. I don't know if they got it back yet. Probably not. I don't think so. I texted her a little bit ago. She still hadn't responded. They don't have cell phone service out there, so if they don't have internet, they don't have any way to contact anyone except for driving out of their area. This entire little neighborhood is like on a square, and the rest of London, I don't know, everybody else over there without power. There's still a lot of people without power. I'd say most of London is without power. I don't know why we're on like a special grid here. I remember one time when the power went out here, something happened on our grid. You could see lights all around us, and we didn't have it for hours. I guess 23 confirmed dead is what they're looking at so far from this thing. Apparently it was like an EF3. I don't know. It may have been upgraded to an EF4 by now. It was big. It sounded big. It sounded angry. Might sound dramatic, but that's what it was. I'm glad to be here. That was very, very close. Oh, I thought the hail came before the tornado. Apparently not. There was hail after. I don't know. I don't know where I heard that from. I know hail is involved with tornadoes, okay? That's all I know. Maybe Twister or something taught me that. That was the closest I ever want to be. It sucks that it was at night, but maybe it was for the best because there was nothing else for me to do but just to keep my head down. Let's not do that again. I don't like being completely at the mercy of nature, okay? I take a lot of risk. You guys see it all the time. But those risks, there's a lot I can manage about it, okay? I can decide, right? Like how far I want to go, where I'm going, you know, stuff. There are a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of things I can control. I had no control over this, like none. I mean, the only thing I could control was my actions, which was to keep my head down, right? To stay down, to not get up and run around like a stupid person. I mean, even then, it's a good chance if it hits, it's gonna hit me. So there wasn't much I could control, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like just being totally at the mercy of nature, because nature's kind of a bitch. Anyway, that's what I got. A lot of roads are still closed today. Can't go anywhere today. Hopefully by tomorrow they'll be cleaned up. I know there's still a lot of search and rescue going on. Yeah, that was a real deal. In case you guys want to know, I know it's not sensational disaster footage or anything, but that's just what I experienced.